All right, so are you ready to plunge into East Asian medicine? Because, phew, you've given us a lot to work with here.
It's an incredibly rich tradition.
We've got Ted Kaptchuk's The Web That Has No Weaver,
Hmm.
and we've got some really interesting historical medical debates.
Oh,
Even
definitely.
clinical studies, it's incredible.
And they all offer such unique perspectives.
So today, let's try and weave all of this together, right?
Sounds good.
And figure out how East Asian medicine views health and illness. Really understand it. What do you think?
I think it's a system that can really change how you see your body.
Oh, absolutely.
Ah,
And its connection to the world around you, I mean, it's fascinating.
definitely.
Let's start with something that's always kind of, I don't know, perplexed me a little bit, yin and yang.
Okay, sure.
I mean, it's such a fundamental idea, but how do you actually apply it to health? That's what I've never quite grasped.
Well, you have to remember that yin and yang aren't static forces. It's about the interplay between them.
So it's about constant change.
Exactly. They're constantly influencing each other, transforming each other.
Oh, I see. So it's like two sides of the same coin, not separate entities?
Precisely.
Like night and day, hot and cold.
And it goes beyond the physical. Even our emotions and behaviors have yin and yang aspects to them.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, think about it. Excessive yang energy could manifest as anxiety, restlessness,
Oh.
while a yin deficiency might lead to, say, fatigue or low motivation.
So understanding my own personal yin and yang, that could help me make better lifestyle choices.
It could absolutely guide you towards more balance.
How so?
Let's take diet, for instance. Cooling, hydrating foods, those are considered yin.
Okay.
Things like cucumbers, watermelon. On the other hand, you have yang foods, warming, spicy foods like ginger and chili peppers.
So by incorporating both, you create a balance.
Exactly. You harmonize your body's energy.
That's a really good example. It makes it much more concrete for me.
And this is where Ted Kaptchuk's book, The Web That Has No Weaver, is really helpful.
Oh, how so?
Well, he emphasizes that in East Asian medicine, everything is connected. Even seemingly insignificant details can have a big impact on our well-being.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, so we've talked about this dance of opposites.
Right.
Now let's move to another cornerstone of East Asian medicine, qi.
Sure.
Often described as this vital life force that animates everything in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty powerful concept.
It is, but it can be a little tricky to grasp. It's not a physical substance,
So not like blood or oxygen.
No, more like a flow of energy
Okay,
that's constantly changing, constantly adapting, and driving transformation in the body.
so it's more about potential, the inherent potential for change.
Precisely. It's this potential that drives our physiological processes. Everything from breathing to digestion, even emotional responses.
Wow, it's almost like picturing qi as this invisible river flowing through my body, connecting everything.
That's a beautiful image. And this leads us nicely into another key element of East Asian medicine, the meridians. The channels through which qi circulates, connecting all of our organs and tissues.
So they're like pathways,
Precisely.
but not actual physical structures.
Yeah, not like arteries and veins.
That's what always confused me. How do they figure out where these pathways are if you can't see them?
It's fascinating. While they don't directly correspond to specific anatomical structures, the meridians have been validated through centuries of clinical observation and increasingly now by scientific studies.
So there's actually evidence to support things like acupuncture, which targets these meridians, right?
Exactly. Acupuncture aims to restore the flow of qi through these meridians.
And it can be really effective.
It can. And what's interesting is that certain meridians have been linked to specific functions, even emotional states.
Really? Like what?
Well, for example, the liver meridian, it's believed to influence our capacity for planning and decision-making.
Interesting.
And the stomach meridian is associated with our ability to digest not just food, but information and experiences as well.
So if someone's having digestive problems or feeling stuck, indecisive, a practitioner might look at those specific meridians.
Exactly. They would look for imbalances in those areas.
And this is where the diagnostic techniques of East Asian medicine come into play, right?
That's right. They're designed to assess the flow of qi, identify imbalances, and guide treatment.
Okay, I'm really curious about these diagnostic methods. How do they figure out what's going on with a patient's energy?
The foundation of diagnosis in East Asian medicine is what's called the 4 examinations.
The 4 examinations.
Looking, listening and smelling, asking, and touching. Each one gives a unique perspective on the patient's internal state.
So it's like putting together a puzzle using all these different pieces of information.
Precisely. Let's take looking first. Practitioners observe the patient's complexion, their tongue, even the whites of their eyes, looking for subtle signs.
I never realized you could tell so much just from looking at someone.
A pale tongue could indicate a key deficiency, for instance,
Oh, wow.
while a red tongue might suggest excess heat.
Okay, so even small details can be important. What about listening and smelling?
Well, the quality of a person's voice, their breathing patterns, even body odor these can all offer insights into their internal state.
Interesting.
A weak voice might suggest a lung qi deficiency, while a raspy cough could be a sign of dryness or heat.
It's amazing how much our senses can tell us when we really pay attention.
It is.
Okay, what about asking?
This involves taking a detailed history, asking about the patient's lifestyle, emotional state, their specific symptoms. It's about understanding their experience in their own words.
So getting the full picture of the person, not just the physical symptom.
Exactly. And finally, there's touching.
Okay.
This includes palpating different areas of the body, checking for temperature, texture, tenderness, and of course, there's pulse diagnosis.
Oh, pulse diagnosis. That's always intrigued me. It seems like such a subtle art.
It is. By feeling the pulse at different locations on the wrist, practitioners can assess its quality, rhythm, strength.
So it's not just about taking your heart rate.
No, it's much more nuanced than that. It provides insights into the functioning of various organs and the balance of qi and blood.
Like reading a map of the body's internal landscape.
Precisely. The pulse can reveal a lot about areas of disharmony.
It's incredible how all four of these examinations work together to create a holistic picture of a person's health. So once a practitioner has gathered all of this information, how do they make sense of it? How do they arrive at a diagnosis?
That's where the 8 principal patterns come in. Think of them as guiding principles for understanding imbalances in East Asian medicine. They provide a framework for organizing all that information we talked about, understanding what kind of imbalance is going on.
So it's not about giving someone a disease label, but understanding the root cause of their health issues.
Exactly. It's about looking at the underlying patterns. The 8 principal patterns consist of 4 pairs of opposites:
Okay.
yin-yang, interior-exterior, deficiency-excess, and cold-hot.
So we already talked about yin and yang. What about these other pairs? How do they relate to health?
We'll take interior and exterior, for example. This describes the location of the imbalance.
Oh.
An exterior condition, that typically involves the body's surface, something like a cold or the flu.
So it's more superficial.
Right, you might experience chills, fever, stuffy nose. The symptoms are more outward.
And it usually comes on pretty suddenly.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, an interior condition that affects the deeper organs, systems, it usually develops more gradually.
Okay.
So think about chronic digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, things like that.
So whether it's interior or exterior, that helps practitioners understand how deep the problem is, how long it's been going on.
Exactly. And then you have deficiency and excess.
Okay.
These terms relate to the amount of qi or blood in the body.
Right.
Deficiency pattern means there's not enough qi or blood to support proper function. Excess means there's too much, leading to stagnation, blockage.
So someone with a key deficiency might feel tired all the time, have trouble concentrating,
They might.
whereas someone with excess heat could experience inflammation or skin rashes.
Precisely. Each pattern has its own unique set of symptoms, and understanding them is crucial for treatment.
It makes sense.
Oh.
And what about cold and hot? That one seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but it can be more complex than you think. Cold patterns often manifest as chills, pale complexion, slow digestion.
Right.
Hot patterns lead to fever, redness, agitation. But it's not just about physical temperature. It reflects the energetic state of the body.
So someone could feel cold even if their body temperature is normal,
Exactly, especially if they have a deficiency of yang energy.
because yang is associated with warmth and vitality.
Exactly. And keep in mind, these patterns aren't mutually exclusive. You can have combinations.
Like what?
Well, you could have an excess heat condition with a deficiency of yin. This might look like anxiety, insomnia, night sweats.
Wow, it sounds like it takes a lot of expertise to really understand how all these patterns interact.
It does. Now, in addition to those 8 principal patterns, there's another layer we need to talk about: the 8 extraordinary meridians.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How are these different from the regular meridians we discussed earlier?
Well, the 12 regular meridians are directly connected to specific organs.
Right.
The 8 extraordinary meridians, they have more of a regulatory function.
Okay, what does that mean?
Think of them as reservoirs of qi. They can be drawn upon during times of stress, growth, significant change.
So like backup systems that kick in when the body needs extra support.
That's a great way to put it. They also play a crucial role in prenatal development and influence our overall constitution resilience.
Interesting. Can you give some examples of how these meridians affect our health?
Sure, take the conception vessel, for instance. It runs along the midline of the body's front. It's often called the Sea of Yin.
Sea of Yin.
And it plays a critical role in regulating yin energy throughout the body. It's especially important for women's health, governing things like menstruation, fertility, pregnancy.
So if someone is having menstrual problems or trouble getting pregnant, a practitioner might focus on balancing the conception vessel.
Exactly. And then you have the governing vessel. It flows along the midline of the back from the tailbone all the way up to the head.
Oh,
This is known as the Sea of Yang.
the Sea of Yang. Oh,
It
good.
governs the flow of yang energy, influences vitality, mental clarity, even our ability to handle stress.
So it sounds like these two vessels are really important, like master conductors of the whole energy system.
That's a great analogy. They have a profound effect on our well-being, physical, emotional, and spiritual.
Wow.
Mhm.
We won't have time to go into all 8 extraordinary meridians today,
Right,
but it's amazing to think about the role they play in our health.
definitely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about energy and pathways,
Right.
but what about the actual organs? How does East Asian medicine view them?
That's a great question. In East Asian medicine, the organs aren't just physical structures.
Okay.
They represent complex, energetic, and functional systems, all intricately connected. Let's start with the 5 Zhang organs.
The 5 Zhang organs.
These are considered the yin organs, and they're responsible for storing and processing essential substances in the body.
Okay, so those are the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys.
Exactly. And each one has unique responsibilities and energetic associations. Let's start with the heart, considered the emperor of the body.
The emperor.
It governs the circulation of blood, of course, but is also believed to house the spirit, or Shin, which influences our emotional well-being, consciousness, and sleep.
So a balanced heart is not just about physical health, but also mental and emotional well-being.
Exactly. Then we have the liver. This is responsible for the smooth flow of qi throughout the body,
Okay.
like a traffic controller, making sure energy is directed where it needs to go.
So if the liver's out of balance, that could show up as irritability, frustration, maybe even digestive issues.
You got it. The liver is also closely connected to planning, decision-making. So imbalances can also manifest as difficulty setting boundaries or feeling overwhelmed.
Interesting. What about the spleen? I know in Western medicine it's not as well known as the heart or the liver, but I have a feeling it's pretty important in East Asian medicine.
You're right. The spleen is often called the minister of grain. It plays a key role in digestion, transforming food into energy and blood.
So it's all about nourishment.
Exactly. Maintaining healthy appetite, strong digestion, stable energy.
So fatigue, bloating, loose stools could be signs of a spleen imbalance.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the lungs. They govern respiration, of course, taking in fresh qi from the air,
Right.
distributing it throughout the body, but they also play a role in regulating our immune system,
Oh, how so?
acting as a barrier against external pathogens.
So healthy lungs are not just about breathing well, but also about protecting us from getting sick.
Exactly. And finally, we have the kidneys, considered the root of life.
The root of life. Okay.
They store Jing, which is our vital essence. It's responsible for growth, development, reproduction.
Wow, it's like the foundation of our life force.
It is. The kidneys also regulate water metabolism, maintain bone health.
So they're essential for overall vitality and longevity.
Exactly. They're the foundation of our energy and resilience.
It's incredible how each of these organs has such a specific role to play in keeping us healthy.
It is.
We've talked about the 5 Zhang organs, but what about the other half?
Right. There are also the 6 Fu organs. They're considered the yang organs, and they're primarily involved in digestion and elimination.
So those the gallbladder, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, bladder, and the triple burner.
Exactly. The Fu organs are like the workforce of the body.
Yeah.
They break down food, absorb nutrients, eliminate waste.
So while the Zhang organs store vital substances, the Fu organs process and transport them.
You got it. Healthy Fu organs are essential for making sure we're efficiently processing food and getting rid of what we don't need.
Right. What about the triple burner? What exactly is that?
Ah, yes, the triple burner. It's a bit of a mystery. It doesn't correspond to a single anatomical structure. It's more of a functional entity. It regulates the movement of fluids and energy throughout the body.
Interesting.
Think of it like the body's internal thermostat and irrigation system, making sure everything is flowing smoothly.
So it has a pretty important job.
It does.
Wow.
It's involved in everything from digestion and metabolism to temperature regulation and immune function.
Wow.
It really shows the holistic nature of East Asian medicine. All these systems are connected and influence each other.
This has been such a fascinating exploration of the organs from an East Asian medicine perspective. It's really amazing how this system sees the body as this intricate web of interconnected systems, all working together.
It is a holistic perspective, emphasizing the connection between our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And it's this understanding that forms the basis for the treatment approaches in East Asian medicine.
Okay, so we've covered how East Asian medicine diagnoses these imbalances, but how do they actually treat them?
Well, there are a number of modalities. The two most well-known are acupuncture and herbal medicine.
Acupuncture. I've always been fascinated by it, those tiny needles. It's a little intimidated too, if I'm honest.
I understand.
How does it work?
It's a system that's been developed and refined for thousands of years.
Oh, wow.
By inserting very thin needles into specific points along the meridians, practitioners can influence the flow of qi and blood. Essentially, it's about restoring balance and promoting the body's natural healing abilities.
I know it's often used for pain relief. Can it help with other things as well?
Absolutely, it can. Acupuncture's scope is very broad. While it's become popular for managing pain, it can also be effective for digestive disorders, allergies, even anxiety and insomnia, really a wide range of conditions.
It's amazing to think that stimulating those points can have such a big impact on our overall well-being.
The key is understanding how everything in the body is connected. By targeting specific acupoints, a skilled practitioner can address not just the symptoms you're experiencing, but also the underlying energetic imbalances. They're getting to the root of the problem.
So it's not just masking the symptoms, but actually trying to restore harmony to the whole system.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about herbal medicine. I've always been intrigued by the idea of using plants to heal. Tell me about it.
Chinese herbology is incredibly complex. It's a vast system. It draws on the therapeutic properties of thousands of plants, minerals, all sorts of natural substances, and each ingredient has its own unique energetic qualities.
Oh, wow. So how does that translate into treatment?
It allows practitioners to create really personalized formulas. It's not like taking a single supplement. It's more like crafting a recipe tailored to the individual's needs. They take into account the patient's diagnosis, their constitution, even the season and the climate.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So, for example, they might include herbs that tonify deficient qi, or herbs that clear excess heat or resolve dampness. It all depends on what's going on with the individual.
So it's a combination of art and science. You really have to understand both the human body and the natural world.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that both acupuncture and herbal medicine can be used on their own or together.
Oh, so they can complement each other.
Exactly. It depends on what the person needs.
So it's a very flexible and adaptable system.
It is.
I'm really starting to see the potential of East Asian medicine. It's incredible.
It offers a different perspective on health and illness. It's not just about eradicating disease, but more about restoring balance and promoting vitality,
I like that.
acknowledging that connection between our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
It's a good reminder that we're not just a bunch of separate parts, but a whole being connected to everything around us. This deep dive has been amazing.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground. We talked about the philosophical foundations, the diagnostic techniques, those incredible treatment approaches.
It's been quite a journey.
East Asian medicine really encourages us to look deeper, to go beyond the surface, and really appreciate that interconnection.
I think it's important to recap the key takeaways. Would you be up for doing a quick 10-point summary for our listeners?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. East Asian medicine views health as a state of harmony between yin and yang, the complementary opposites that govern all phenomena. Number 2. Qi, the vital life force, flows through all living things, connecting us to the natural world and animating all physiological processes. Number 3. Meridians are these invisible pathways that circulate qi throughout the body, forming a network that connects all of our organs and tissues. Number 4. The 4 examinations looking, listening and smelling, asking, and touching provide a framework for assessing a patient's unique energetic landscape and identifying those imbalances. Number 5. The 8 principal patterns. Yin-Yang, interior-exterior, deficiency, excess, and cold-hot offer a framework for understanding how those energetic imbalances manifest. Number 6. The 6 pernicious influences, wind, cold, heat, dampness, dryness, and summer heat, are external factors that can disrupt the body's harmony, often reflecting internal imbalances. Number 7. Emotions play a huge role in health, each one linked to specific organs and capable of influencing the flow of qi. Number 8.
Lifestyle factors are so important. Things like diet, exercise, sleep, stress management all play a crucial role in maintaining balance and well-being. Number 9. Acupuncture and herbal medicine are powerful modalities that can restore harmony to the body by addressing the root causes of those energetic imbalances. And finally, number 10. East Asian medicine offers a truly holistic perspective that recognizes that our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are all interconnected. That's it, 10 key takeaways.
That was a fantastic summary. It really captures the essence of this ancient system. But remember, it's just the beginning.
There's always more to learn.
Right, a lifelong journey of discovery.
To our listener, keep seeking knowledge, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep nurturing your own well-being. Until next time, happy diving.